Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Yobi1 checking in, and today I'm going to be giving you guys another true Japan story while I'm walking downtown right now in my city. So I kind of decided with all these true Japan stories, I'm going to kind of have a general theme and probably share a couple of stories related to that theme. Um, so this story is going to be kind of being cautious and being prepared in Japan. And these are my own experiences. I'm not just generalizing like these things will happen to you in Japan, but just be cautious, plan and prepare. Um, and I'm not using these stories in any means to scare you guys, but I do want you guys to be actively thinking and preparing and planning and being cautious. So the first story that I'll tell you guys is about my first trip to Tokyo, and I mean my first full trip. So I was there in July of 2009, which was the first summer that I was studying abroad, and I was actually going home. So I stopped in Tokyo for a few days to hang out with my friends before getting on a flight from Tokyo to go back to Canada for the summer. And I went there. I had about $1,000 left because I was about to get more student loans and more money and scholarships and stuff like that for the fall semester. So I was going home, work a little bit, save up some money, and I had about $1,000 left. So then I went to Tokyo, and I was having a lot of fun. I was traveling, I was going around, but I wasn't paying attention to how much money I was spending. And I hadn't realized that the exchange rate was really bad at that time. And I had kept on withdrawing money from the ATM. So I ended up going to Harajuku with one of my friends, and then I went to 7-Eleven and took out money. And then I looked at my bank slip receipt and I saw how much money I had left. And I only had like $40 or $60 or something like that left for the last 2 days. And I had kind of budgeted in my mind, like, okay, I'll have about a couple $100 left in my mind, but it ended up being only like $60. Ignore the sound of that chirping in the background. So anyway, I was freaking out. I was like, that's all the money I had. I didn't have a credit card at the time, and I didn't have any extra savings because I was just about to go home, so I was just spending money and going out, having fun. And I ended up only having about $40-$60 left for the last 2 days. And it was really scary because I still had to go to Narita Airport, so I had to take a train to get there. And I still had to pay for the last night stay of my stay in a dormitory at the hostel that I was staying at. And then other than that, I had like almost no money. So I ended up taking out the last bit of money that I had. And then I ended up going to the hostel. I paid the $35 whatever for the hostel fee, and then I had $5 left. That's all the money I had left to my name in Japan. I had $5 left. So then I was kind of scared, and I was like, okay, what should I do? So I took that $5 and I spent it on internet time at the hostel. And at the hostel, all I did was log in onto Facebook, and I sent a lot of messages to my sister, and I was saying, hey, I'm running out of money, I'm not going to have any more money, and I was trying to get a hold of her. I was emailing her, I was emailing my friends to email her, letting her know it was kind of an emergency for sure. And then, I had spent that $5 on the internet time, and then before I knew it, the internet time was done. And I had sent off my last message. I sent my sister saying, okay, if you get this message, please go put some money, transfer some money to me to my bank account. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck. So I sent that message, and then I had no money left in Japan. None. And I was super scared. So I stayed the night, woke up the next day. I was like about to contact a friend of mine in Japan, see if he could lend me some money. But then I just decided to go to the ATM, and I literally stood by the ATM near the hostel for about 3 or 4 hours, intermittently trying to withdraw money to see if my sister could send me the money. And after a few hours of trying, I was like giving up hope, and then finally, it finally accepted the transaction, and I was able to take out the money. And then I literally had just enough money to get me through the rest of the day. So, always plan ahead, always be aware of how much you're spending, be aware of the exchange rate. Otherwise, you never want to run into emergency like that. Always have, emergencies, backup plans. Credit card is good, but just always be aware. And that was kind of my initial mistake back then. But ever since then, I've always really kind of thoroughly planned out my budget and made sure that I always had enough money and I always had a backup and I always had extra savings to kind of help me. So that's the first kind of be prepared, be cautious story. The second be prepared, kind of cautious story was on that same trip. I was hanging out with my friend Alyssa, and we had gone to Roppongi, and that was my first time in Roppongi. And while we were in Roppongi, we were just walking around looking for a place to go, looking for a place to grab drinks. And eventually, we got called over by some guys to come into their bar. And some African guys. I don't know what country they're from. I'm not being racist or anything. I got a lot of feedback in my last Being Black in Japan video. But anyway, we went inside the bar, and I literally only ordered one beer. Just one beer. And it was a bottled beer, too. And I remember drinking that beer, and then within 15 minutes, just like passing out. And we ended up having to take a cab back to our respective hostels. So, not to scare you guys of Roppongi or things like that, but I've heard a lot of stories about people being drugged when they go out, and that's my story. I completely feel like I was kind of drugged. I don't think my friend Alyssa felt like that, but I know for sure that I felt really, really messed up after that one beer. And I'm a pretty strong drinker, so that's why I kind of have my reasons to believe that. So just be aware, be cautious, know where you're going. You never want to get trapped like that, right, guys? And let's see, do I have any other cautious, be aware stories for you guys? If I can think of any more, I'll try to give you guys that. But just use your head. Just always plan and prepare. Don't get scared. It doesn't matter what country you go to. You always need to plan ahead and be prepared. So that's the kind of major theme of this True Japan story. So if you guys like this, comment. Tell me if you guys have ever encountered a crazy story like that when you were traveling. You guys can follow me on Twitter at EOB1, or you guys can follow me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/EOB1 spelled out, so O-N-E. And if you guys like, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm going to post a lot of photos on Instagram too. My username is EOB. So yeah, thanks guys. じゃあね。